Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies, gentlemen, squid, however you choose to identify. If you can see my face and hear my voice, you know it is time once again for the worst 120 minutes or so in all of sports. That's right, it's time for the Too Many Guys Soccer Show. And this is an extra special episode as we are doing our annual kit review show. Unfortunately, we missed it last year, but it is a normal tradition and it is one of our favorite shows to do. We're going to go through some of the good, based on some of the submissions. There's some bad, and there's definitely a whole lot of ugly. So please make sure you join us on YouTube because this is one of those ones that you actually have to see to believe. I am joined, as I am each and every show, by my faithful partner in all things podcasting, producer Stead. How goes it?
Going all right. Happy to be here.
We've also got our denizens of football sartorial splendor, Professor Matt and Chelsea Mike. Matt, how's it going this week?
Going well, Mike. Semester's getting into the swing of things. I think summer is finally over, sort of. My allergies are telling me that. So,
Mike, how you doing?
Oh, hanging in there, my friend. How are you? Does anyone
So,
ever ask you how you're doing?
thank you. I appreciate it. Nobody's ever asked me. I'm doing fine. Just get back into the swing of things. It's nice to be on uh this Wednesday to do this. I'm even more overjoyed. So before we get into the kits, gentlemen, we do have one thing important that we need to talk about, and that is the fact that the long wait is officially over. The U.S. men's national team has a manager. Yesterday, Mauricio Pochettino was announced as the 3,474th official manager. No, I lie a little bit, but the new manager of the U.S. men's national team. It's an announcement that has taken well over a month to happen, and it came too late for us to actually look like a coherent soccer national team during this window, as we lost at home to Canada and then put in what can only be called a disappointing, listless, boring, all the negative adjectives that you could come up with display against New Zealand. But Poch is on board. Stead, I'm going to start with you, and then I'll jump to Mike because he has the most recent experience with the 52-year-old Argentine. Stead, how are you feeling about this one?
Better. Yeah, I was pretty pessimistic on who the manager would be for US. I thought they would have to just try to find the best MLS coach they could because it didn't seem like too many candidates were interested in the position. Understandably so. But I will say that I was happy to hear that he had finally taken the job, that they'd worked things out with Chelsea, and that there is a manager who seems to know how to squeeze water out of some stones when it comes to developing players. And that's something that the U.S. desperately need, as well as someone who is a bit more, I'd say, hard-nosed and his expectations. And I think that's what the U.S. need right now. So I'm pleased with the appointment. I'm glad they got a manager who seems to have a good understanding of the game and has respect around the world for his skills. And I'm just going to keep my fingers crossed that he could find a viable attacking option and a new center back, because Tim Ream is 36. So that's pretty much it. But hopefully there'll be some more talent that can come his way so he could actually manage a worthwhile team for the 26 World Cup.
Right, Mike, he's the former manager of your team. It has been revealed that there was a bit of a power struggle behind the scenes between Berhad Eghbali and Todd Bowley over whether or not to keep him. This indicates a growing fracture within the leadership of Chelsea Football Club. But how do you feel about your former manager now coming to manage the U.S. men's national team?
Well, I have to say, first off, if you're expecting a really quick turnaround of the U.S. men's national team, don't. because it's not going to happen in 1 year. I can promise you that. And if so, Todd Bowley will come to the U.S. and fire him, even though apparently Bowley was on the side of keep Poch. I think more than anything, Pochettino's coach that the guys on the team are going to have to respect. I think if Stead's worst case scenario came to pass, where we had some MLS coach that we stuck in there, I don't think that these guys in Europe would have the same level of respect for them that they will have for Poch. I think they're still young enough to listen, because our golden generation's kind of in the middle third of its lifetime now. So the results we need to see, they need to be for 2026. Poch is a hire for 2026. And I mean, I think that his success or failure will be measured in how 2026 turns out for us. And then I think if it's not good, then it's not Poch.
All right, Matt, how are you feeling about this new hire?
I am pleasantly surprised. Much like Stead, I was sort of almost assuming that it was going to be next MLS guy up. But I want to sort of echo sort of what Chelsea Mike mentioned. This is very much a hire for the 2026 tournament. It has to be. The relative age of this squad, where they're all kind of entering their prime, or what should be their prime. I think we can sort of suggest that. And I think the most important thing is just a direction, because the last 3-4 years under old Greg, at its worst it was, at its best it was stagnant. At worst it was stagnant and rudderless. So as long as he can give this team a semblance of an identity, and again, we'll see. I wouldn't expect a quick turnaround, within the next year, but we'll see going into the World Cup where this team is at. All I can say is the Federation could have done much worse, and I was expecting them to do much worse, honest with you. So I'm relatively pleased.
This has got to be the most respected manager that we've had. I know Byron Robb isn't on. We could talk about the virtues of Jurgen Klinsmann when he finally came over, but I think that the thought of Jurgen Klinsmann was more alluring than the actual belief in him was, because people had started to find out that you're only going to get peak Jurgen Klinsmann if you manage to bring Yogi Löw with him, which he did not. I agree with all of you. I think that we have an identity now. We know how Poch is going to play football. He's going to line up in a 4-2-3-1. He's going to press. He's going to want to attack. He's going to want to build from the back. Now, these are not all things that naturally come to the U.S. men's national team players. He's only going to have, 2 weeks in October, a spring window before he goes into the Gold Cup this summer, which will be the only extended run. He'll have that January camp, but that's only going to be with some of the MLS players. I don't know how many and some of the Mexican players, if there are any. I don't know how much of that, how many players he'll actually have and how many players he'll be able to call in. But we know that the bulk of the European players that form the core of this team won't be with that team at that point in time. This is a hire that we're going to see, because the only extended period of time in between now and the World Cup that he's going to have to work with these guys is the 2 months that he gets in the summer. So I'm of the opinion, I think that we're going to see an improvement in the overall effort. I wouldn't expect us to see this sort of lack of attention to details and laziness that we had over the course of the summer, and especially in this winter, come the October window when we play Panama and Mexico. And even though I don't necessarily know where the results will improve, because these are 2 big games. Look, we need to have a better performance against Mexico. We've lost to them the last 2 times that we've played them in quite embarrassing fashion. I mean, being put out in the Gold Cup and then being put out and then the red card in the defeat in the Copa America this summer, and then Mexico. Anytime we play Mexico, it's a big deal. So I'm hoping to see a better overall performance, even if the results don't necessarily go, because it's going to take time for his system to bed in. But I'm with all of you. I think this is there's reason to be excited about this hire. His reputation is pretty sterling. He's very well respected. He carries a gravitas that the players can't ignore. They know that they're going to come in to U.S. men's national team camp and they're going to be coached by a guy who can get them to another level. And when you look at what he's done in the past with some of the players that he's worked with, particularly the guys on the England national team, you know, he helped establish Harry Kane. He gave Eric Dyer his start, and no matter how you feel about Eric Dyer, he had been a key part of that England setup. The one that I find most interesting, and I want to see how he does this with anybody remember Dele Alli at this point? But when he had Dele Alli, you know, Dele Alli was one of the best young players in the world. Ali leaves Pochettino and Spurs, and his career goes completely off the rails. Now, the laughing gas and other things might have had something to do with that, but it's proof that, you know, he can get a lot out of some young players, and he's going to bring that with them, and these guys know that. So I'm with y'all. I'm excited about this.
Mike, I
And
have
you know
I
what
have a
else I'm
question.
excited? Yes, sir.
I have a question for you. In terms of the power dynamic at U.S. Soccer, does this signal an end of the class of '94? Is this finally where that generation is pushed out? There's an article in The Athletic about this, and apparently Emma Hayes stuck her neck out. They were friends at Chelsea. So, I mean, is there a changing power dynamic at U.S. Soccer, and is that good for U.S. Soccer?
I think there's a recognized change in the power dynamic at U.S. Soccer, but the question was, who was in charge? Cindy Cohn, just to me, has been more of a delegator than anything else, and I'm not sure what I'm not sure where we've been going now under her leadership. Now, that led to a situation where a hiring committee was delegated with going out and getting the best coach, and these guys that they got together, none of which included the class of '94, went out and were able to find Poch. Instead, I read the same article Mike did, I guess, and it did talk about, like, they had resumes from some pretty decent coaches. Now, they said they sounded out a number of names like Tuchel and others. I don't know whether they actually ever applied for the job or they just called them up to see if they wanted it. But it was clear from their conversations early on that Poch was gettable and he was interested. And I think this approach is positive. I do think that it does signal a bit, Mike, of a changing of the power dynamic, because now we think of the two most powerful people in that building as the managers of those two teams. You know, Emma Hayes on the women's side, Pochettino on the men's side. As you mentioned, they have a good relationship from their time at Chelsea. He's coming in and he's going to want to have a say, and his voice is going to be very respected because this is a guy who knows how to coach and he knows how to develop youth players. And I would suggest that the people listen to him because his track record does speak for itself.
That's the most important thing, though. You need to listen to him. You know, say what you want about Jurgen Klinsmann's time as a coach. What he said about the issues with U.S. soccer could not have been more true then as they are now. He was exactly right about the problems with U.S. soccer. And with Poch coming in, who was probably well aware of that and has had some experience he's had some American players, maybe one, maybe two, but I think the bigger deal is that they have to understand that this person is coming in with a much better pedigree. And also, you know, say what you want about Emma Hayes, she's coaching she has a much easier job. I'm just gonna say it. She does. She does. It's things are laid out very well for her to be successful, primarily because of the athletes she has to work with. And as the game is still growing throughout the world on the women's side, which Posh does not have that luxury. So I think it's going to be telling about what we see on the field. And I will say and players who were chosen for the squad. I think that will be the telling signal for how much influence is he truly having and how much is US soccer still thinking they can do it their own way. But last thing I want to see though is that the more and more US soccer turns into Dan Snyder, and when you actually have somebody who comes in who knows what they're doing and you don't want to listen to them because you want to do it your way. And that's the
I
scary
think they
thing.
will give him the ability to do what he wants within the setup of US soccer.
Yeah, but but again, that is also a very rocky.
Yeah, and I get where you're saying,
Yeah,
and I think,
yeah.
Okay, the 600-pound elephant that's sitting on this conversation is youth soccer development in the United States.
Yep.
And if we're expecting the power brokers that make up youth soccer in the United States to shift away and suddenly transform how they operate, because Poch is here, no, that's not going to be the case, even if he is making $6 million a season.
Yeah, there's too much money in youth soccer.
There's just too much money
and they're
in
fleecing
these
these
youth
families.
travel teams and things like that for that to actually change. Now, whether or not he can persuade US soccer, who apparently has quite a windfall now, to set up some more training programs, travel teams of their own that are able to go out and reach some of these kids who cannot and will not and are overlooked by these high cost youth soccer coaching teams. I think that would be something. But if we're talking about a total shift away from how we've been doing business, I think there are too many people eating at that table for that to happen completely.
And a lot of them are of the, I mean, I'm just thinking of a lot of the coaches that are in that. A lot of those guys, they're not third, fourth, fifth generation Americans. A lot of these are immigrant families who are also eating off that table. So yeah, the youth soccer
and they all have
going
a
to be
vote
very difficult
on. They have an
to get out of that
outside.
to change it.
Sorry,
Yeah.
that they have an outside voice in who is the head of the U.S. Soccer Federation because their votes count. And we saw that be able to switch elections on several occasions.
Yeah. But again, if Poch is able to be relatively successful, then that's the only thing that's going to allow any sort of shifts in youth soccer development. That's it. That's it. But you know, I will say, since from the time that I was in playing youth soccer as a child till now, I can honestly say that, you know, if what's a shame though, but if you're a kid and you're playing on the high school team, you can basically forget it. You know, it's done. Yeah.
The level of results it's going to have to take for Pochettino to be able to generate that much power, he would have to semi.
Yeah, the semi
in 26.
Yep. Yes.
To be able to come and say, okay, no, if we're going to go to the top, we need this tweaks in the youth game. He needs a semi. That's
but he won't be able to do that, because if he semis, if he even obtains his goals, which according to the reports is a quarterfinal in the World Cup, if he achieves that, he's gone.
Oh, well,
and he's not going by choice. He's going because he's going to get a much better offer.
He's going to go. If he wants, he's going to get the Argentina job.
Yeah. If he takes
absolutely.
if he takes the semi,
that's why
the U.S. to a quarter or a semi, he's in line to get the Argentina job. Well, he's in line to have any job that he wants.
Which gets back to what I was wanted to get to, was that because I think we all in agreement there that you have a very short window with him. You got about 3 years, if you're lucky, 2 or 3 years. That's all you got. And if they are, it's a double-edged sword. If they're not successful, then we're right back where we are. If we are successful, then he's gone. And so, but at least if he is successful, another coach who is in a similar position as him after his Chelsea time will be more interested in taking the U.S. job than I think before. Because yes, the U.S. did send out feelers, but we talked about this. The interest was not there. I don't think the caliber of coach they were looking for versus the caliber of coach who would want to come in and accept this position, their interest was not there. And I think that was blatantly obvious. So the fact that the U.S. were able to land Poch is, I think we got to look at it that way, as opposed to, Poch was really wanted this job and he was able to get it. I think no, we found someone who had some interest in taking the position and we were able to land him. I think that's the way you got to look at it. Poch is again.
Yeah. I definitely agree with your take wholeheartedly.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were able to basically sell him this job, convince him, go out and get the money to pay him, which indicates to me that there are some different types of adults in the room now.
Yeah.
Who are capable of executing these.
And he's gonna get endorsements here.
Mm-hmm.
He speaks English. He's relatively known from the soccer community in the United States. He'll get some endorsements, so he'll make some even more. He'll make some good money.
He'll make some good money, and I think overall, whether or not he is successful, if he says the right things and indicates that he was able to be successful, it was just that, he didn't have enough time with the players or the pool wasn't what he thought it was going to be, then he will have raised the profile of the job. If he leaves saying, I can't work with these people, then U.S. soccer is done. But as long as he exits this job saying, like, look, it's there, I'm just going on to greater challenges, people will come and say, okay, look, I saw what he was able to do. He's going to raise the profile of the job, just like just like a Pep did for Bayern Munich and Manchester City. When you have a coach that has that level of gravitas that comes in, he elevates the profile. He's taking this job. It's going to become all of a sudden a little bit more attractive. And they've proven that when they need to get a certain amount of money to do it, they can do it.
Yeah,
I want to agree with Stead, but I want to put it another way, because I think he's the second biggest draw on the team, right? So, like, think of your Nike soccer ads. They're gonna have Christian Pulisic, and they're gonna have Poch. Like, but there's a lot of pressure in it. And is Poch up to that pressure? That's a question too.
Well, you would know that better than the three of us would. I mean, you and Los would know that.
Well, one year, I don't think Chelsea really got to pull it up.
He was manager at Spurs. He was manager at Chelsea. I think he doesn't mind the pressure.
I don't know. It kind of sounded at the end of it like he was sort of running away from it. He said in one of his press conferences, like at the end, before he got fired, but close to the end of the year, he was like, well, what if I don't want to come back? And it's like, wait, what are we talking about here? It kind of sounded like he backed out.
Is he saying that sarcastically, or B, is he saying that because he just doesn't want to deal with the organization, not the pressure of the job, but the organization?
I was about to say, Matt. That might be a symptom of Chelsea more than anything else.
Like, that might have actually just been the nature of the job itself, not the pressure that comes with it. So, all right, gentlemen, if you're ready, let's get this thing started, because we've all really assembled here to take a look at some kits. So, Stead, PowerPoint, please.
PowerPoint is coming right up. All right.
So I can see you all on the side.
Yeah, I got you on my side, and I'm gonna just enlarge since I got the double monitors here, so I can still see everyone pretty clearly. But again, we have 33 kits here that have been shared, and so we'll jump in.
We could do 3 shows.
Oh, we can do plenty of shows with this, but I'm just gonna go through. And we'll start. If you're like, nah, skip that one, then we'll skip that one. Because I know a couple of years ago, I think we got through about a third of the jerseys that we had planned to, and we ended up sticking. I think we stayed in Germany for about an hour and a half, which was not.
Yeah, but Rob
not the intention.
That year, Rob also sent every single jersey for all 18 teams in Germany for us to talk about.
And he was a couple of the
to get them in, so his was first.
And a couple of the relegated teams as well. So.
All
right, well,
I think that we've got a different selection this time around, so we can jump around.
Yeah,
we can talk a little bit. Yes, why not?
All right, no, guys.
Hey,
guys,
this wasn't even
what we're not.
No.
No one is allowed to call it a bus seat. That's too cliche. We're better than that. I've seen it all over the internet. We're not calling it that. That's not.
No, we're not.
That's too cliche. We're
It
we're
looks
better
like
than
a
this, Stead.
Ukrainian bus
We're
seat.
better than this. We're
It,
better
We're
than
not.
this.
We are not better than this.
where I was going with this is, it's not. I like the bus seat look, but it's been done before. It's been done in Ukraine. My question is, why is Chelsea doing this and doing this now?
It's
Would
supposed to
have
be
input in
liquid
their,
metal, I believe,
much?
but it ends up just looking like a Ukrainian bus seat.
No, it's. I actually I'm not going to buy
Oh,
it.
Stead's with. Oh,
Hold
Oh,
up.
yeah.
I'm messing with it here. I'm trying to get all of us on there. Hold up. Hold up. Keep talking. You guys are fine.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
no. So
Mike, I'm not a fan.
I've seen it. I've seen it in person. Okay, in person it looks a little better than it does on any photo I've seen on the internet. But it's not wonderful. Like I said, I'm not going to buy it.
If I'm
I'll
going to
buy a
be
black
honest,
one, actually, our third kit.
and it's funny that we just started that one. If I'm going to be honest, I think on the whole, I think this was a down year overall. I didn't find as many when I was looking through that I was like, oh, that's really, really solid. Even some teams that are notorious for having really good looks just kind of whiffed this year. So across the board, I think that the manufacturers, and maybe it was because they all had to put out an entirely new line for the Euros and all of that sort of stuff, or it wasn't a great year. Like I said, the bus seat look just isn't doing it for me. We instead we can go to the picture with the bus seat. Yeah, we're not better than that, Mike.
I mean,
that's about
there's
where
stuff
we are.
like Sad Lava Lamp. Sad
Mhm.
Lava Lamp is good. I haven't heard that one before.
Okay,
We
Sad
made
Lava
that
Lamp
one up
bus
right
seat.
on the spot here.
There we go. All right,
It's
let's go to the next one. All right, this was Sporting's third kit. It is supposed to be an homage to Cristiano Ronaldo and Luis Figo, who both got their starts wearing number 7 at Sporting.
Oh, that's what that is. Okay.
So that's supposed to be a 7. Unfortunately, it looks like somebody is relieving themselves on the front of the jersey.
Yeah.
the thing. What I got is like Superman is zigzagging around and he crashed into a rock.
I thought somebody was like pouring a beer.
I thought maybe pouring a Coke, but then I looked at it again and I was like, with the yellow and gold, it looks like somebody just missed the toilet.
Yeah.
is it just me or is there like serious Japanese baseball vibes going on with this jersey?
Yeah, I'm just
Scheme where it, how the colors laid out.
yeah, I get that too. Whatever it is, it's just really like this is one of like a lot of jerseys this year. I think that everybody was sitting around and saying we should do that, and that seems like a great concept.
Mhm.
And when they were doing the renderings of it, it looked a lot better. And then when it got produced, you're like, yeah, somehow that just whiffed. And there needed to be somebody in the room to say, have you considered that this looks like a Japanese baseball player peeing into a Coke can on the front of your shirt?
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me. Absolutely. Let's move on.
Okay, this is Basel's. I think this is their away. It's either their away or their third kit. I guess they were trying to do some sort of fire motif. Weirdly, the flames don't go all the way down. The flames on the bottom don't go all the way down to the hem. So
There's a
you've
little
got this
gap down here in
weird
the
thing
bottom.
going down right at the bottom level. It looks like some sort of like cartoon amoeba instead of like the fire. Like I get where you were trying to go, but I think like the other one, this was good in concept. It just missed in actual execution. I also don't think this is a jersey that needs to have a collar.
Oh, I
No,
didn't even notice that. Yeah.
I tell you what, Mike, I look at this jersey and I'm heading right to Flavortown, baby.
Yes.
Where
Yeah.
Guy Fieri would rock this every single day. It's Flavortown, baby. I love Flavortown jersey.
It looks cheap. It It looks really cheap to me.
It looks just poorly constructed.
It
Like,
does.
why are the flames starting?
That little
Why do you have a
collar is
repeat of the pattern almost at the bottom 16th of the jersey? Like, did you not calculate how much fabric you were going to need when you laid that out?
yeah, that collar's terrible. That's such a bad collar. Look at that little thing. That's so
It's
bad.
not the worst.
And then why
collar
does it
ever.
have the black
There,
stripes down
yeah,
the side?
that's what I'm
Why?
saying. It looks cheap. Right
It
there.
just looks like this really looks like that shirt that was at um Sears back in the day that your mom made you buy to go to school because you needed a collared shirt
Yeah,
and it was the end of the month and we didn't have enough money to get a
yeah.
decent one.
Or she thought it looks hip.
Well,
Yes.
and,
This is
and
a
why is the
set. This is
color
a
just a
90-year-old
completely
version of
different
what
color?
they think kids would look like. Would like. All right, Mike. What were you gonna say?
Why is the collar a completely different color? Like
I don't
it
know.
just looks like they found a random collar and sewed it on.
It looks like they dyed a traditional back golf shirt with this hideous. It looks like It looks like a kid glued a pattern onto a traditional black golf
Yeah.
shirt, like a make it home Halloween
If you wore
costume.
if you wore that shirt in the golf course, they would ask you to leave.
Flavortown.
All right, we're moving on. Ah!
Okay. This is this is a Croatian team.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna say this right. Reshka. It's their third kit.
Who?
It is supposed to be Jaws.
Yes.
It definitely gives
Definitely
me Jaws
is.
vibes.
I know I know how to write that.
If they don't walk out to that, then they're missing an opportunity.
This is just. I mean, this is just too funny. You can't make this up.
It looks like these eyes. Look at eyes right
It's
here, you
supposed
know.
to be Jaws.
The logos are now eyes.
Ed's already lost it. He's drawing on the thing. It's supposed to be the Jaws movie poster. I guess I don't necessarily associate Jaws and great white sharks with Croatia.
They
Well,
have
I
a,
thought this would
they
be
have
more
a
appropriate
large
for like a Danish team.
coastline, Mike, and I am going to do some research here because when Western stuff comes to Eastern Europe, there's always like some weird kick. Like every one I know from the post-Soviet space of a certain generation are like, Deep Purple is the greatest band ever. And I'm like, hey, I mean, they were good, but there's more to rock and roll than Deep Purple.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask around and I'm going to see if there's like a cult of Jaws in like the former Yugoslavia. Like maybe Jaws was like one of those Western movies where it was like, oh, this is the coolest thing since sliced bread, and speaks, I don't know, to something
Yeah,
that
I did not get any background on what the story was with that particular kit. I just saw it and was like, I think that there's a joke here that I'm just not aware of what the joke is. Now we
Also,
saw like
this is like
Odinson
somebody's
Golf
belly.
Club do the Thor jersey last year that was epic, and it's ridiculousness, but there was a little bit of tongue in cheek to that. I'm just not sure what's going on with this.
Yeah, I don't know. At first, I thought that somebody was like wearing the jersey and the head. I don't know. It looked weird. It looked like somebody's stomach right there. So I don't want to have nightmares tonight. So I'm gonna change this one.
All right, this is
Back to the more traditional.
Yeah, back to the more traditional teams. Easy. This is Inter's home kit. Now, my thing I can't figure out about this is why in the last like 1/4 of that jersey did they decide to try to change up the stripe pattern?
Oops.
Like you've got the traditional vertical interstripes for all but like the last quarter, last 20% of the jersey. Then they go with this dazzle camo pattern. I'm not really understanding. Like this isn't as boldly ugly as some of the other ones. This is just bad ugly. Like, what was the purpose behind the thinking with this? Yes, thank you for like you get the traditional, and then all of a sudden just the last one. Even if
To
it
me,
was like
it's
half and half, I could
to me, it's
understand
like
that more.
the designers were like, oh no, they asked for something different. We've got 5 minutes into the meeting. All right, yeah, just do it sideways on that one bit. That'll do it. That's
We
good.
said that we were going to do some bold changes this year, but you know what it looks like? The jersey was halfway out the printer, and somebody grabbed it to take it to the meeting.
Yeah,
And
it
the
does.
rest
That's
of
right.
it got messed up.
That's pretty good.
Glitch.
That's pretty good. All right, let's see what's next. Blackpool.
I love this.
This is another bus seat look.
It it you got bus seats.
This is
loud
more
bus.
metro, I'd say.
Well,
Maybe more metro.
This is definitely, I mean, this is definitely, I guess maybe this is the year of public transportation motifs.
These are the new
Have
trains they shipped out
jerseys.
in DC about 10 years ago, you know.
You have
This
loud
definitely
bus
just
seats.
reminds me of a metro seat, like you said.
Yeah.
You have loud SEPTA seats. What gets me about this one isn't just, the bus seat look. It's also the sponsor.
Yes, that was
It's
something else I was
Pleasure
going
Beach.
to
That's
yes.
where McGuire goes in Greece, right? Pleasure Beach. I did some digging on this because this was one of my what the hell is this? What is Pleasure Beach? Again, it sounds like a Showtime movie that would show up at 3 a.m. in the morning.
Some good old Skinamax.
Yeah, exactly. This is why I love this. So Pleasure Beach is actually in Blackpool. It's this like rinky-dink amusement park. So it is the most local yet random kid sponsor I've seen in a long time. So there's like some local flair here, but it's also if you're not from Blackpool, what's Pleasure Beach, right?
There's so
That
much.
was my
You've
thought.
got the metro motif for public transportation. Meanwhile, you're sponsored by something that sounds like a swingers resort. Like I'm
All right.
just not, and the name of the team is Blackpool. Like there's just so much going on that makes this just weird.
Yeah.
It's weird in this very special way.
Yeah. This is yeah, they tried. That's all I can say about that one. It's pretty bad. All right, on the next.
Another one, Pompey's third
See,
kit.
this bothers me because I've always liked the kits they put out. I always thought they did a good job with theirs, and then I feel like they're getting sucked into the trend a little bit. Maybe because they think they're going to get promoted, but I don't know. I'm not feeling this one too much.
No, I mean to me it's like trying too hard to be exciting,
Yeah,
and it just comes up and it turns out it's really boring.
these look like expo markers that are about to run out of ink. You know.
It's very aughts Tampa Bay Rays vibes. The theme, the use of the colors.
Mhm. And they
Yeah,
don't match the shorts.
yeah, the
Like
pants, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Because of the way it is, it doesn't look like the shorts match.
Yeah, like they didn't throw. If you're gonna do it, do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Do
At
it.
least put the stripe down the side of the
Yeah,
pants.
do something. You go put it on the pants. You know, do something. But it's almost like they just do it on the kid and just kind of forgot about it. Or
This is
yeah.
what happens when you get a committee of men who listen to Huey Lewis in the news growing up and they try to be edgy.
They still got their cigarettes rolled up in their sleeves, right?
Yes, they're listening to It's Hip to Be Square on repeat while trying to be edgy and develop something that's we're going to go bright.
Yeah. All right.
Let's channel electricity.
Yeah. Enough of you, Pompey. You guys missed the boat on that one.
I actually kind of like this.
I do too.
This is Boa Vista's. This is one of those times where, like, when you go back and you look at the repeating patterns that are kind of offset, and you do a different kind of color scheme on the shoulders, it actually works, right? So there's something about it. You can do a pattern. You can do, three different colors. It's just black, gray, and white. You can do the different sleeves and things like that. But the sleeves on the shoulders, the all black sleeves with the repeating pattern, even though the pattern's a little bit offset, it generally forms triangle. It's generally geometric. It repeats in a way that makes sense. I kind of have to say, like, as far as ones that have come out, I like this one.
I'm going to say this one too. It doesn't strike me as one that is totally for the person who wants to wear what the players on the field are wearing. And you can see how this one's being marketed, where you have guys wearing some faded jeans, they have on the little bracelets and stuff like that. They look like they're about to go out and hang out for a little bit. So it seems to be much more fashionably aware, but that normally I'm kind of like, but this one, I was like, no, I'm feeling this one. I actually really, really like it. It's something that, as I say that as I'm wearing a gray striped polo shirt right now, but it kind of fits my color scheme. I tend to wear gray a lot, but that's the way they put that one out made me go, oh, I appreciate that, what they're trying to do here. And it probably would look cool with a pair of shorts, some shorts and everything like that.
That would be one
that to me, that to me is not a kit that you're going to see on
Yeah.
the field too much.
Yeah.
It's a leisure kit.
Mhm.
And I would hate to have to play in that, but I would wear it around.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I'd hate to have to play in it.
I feel
if that was the kit that we were wearing that day, I don't think that you can necessarily. I think that it is marketed more towards middle-aged men.
Yeah.
Than necessarily
we'd all wear that.
Gen Z.
Yeah.
But it's still like, it looks like a decent.
I'm the only Gen Xer here, but yes, I'd rock that.
I think we're Matt and I are pretty close. We're like right on the cusp.
We're on that.
You guys are 80. I'm 78.
Whatever.
I'm a sullen millennial over here.
Yeah.
I'm like 2 years younger than you guys.
Nonetheless, that's definitely marketed more towards Gen Z, and that's fine. Like, even some of the millennials, like, that's a good kit, something that you can wear out.
Yeah.
And around. Yeah. And support your team.
Yeah. The only thing is
wear on game day.
Right. The only thing is, though, I think you'd have to convince people that no, this is a football jersey. I think they might be like, sure, where'd you get that from? I was like, no, it's a football jersey. Very nice, though. Very nice pickup. All right, let's move on. Ooh.
We can't see it.
Oh. Sorry about that. Good, because I'm about to get a little bit of a stomach ache.
Oh, yes. The only thing that the Southampton kit is missing is a Pepto-Bismol sponsor. I know that we have seen teams go with pink away and alternate kits before, and I don't want to say, like, there's nothing wrong with that. This one just happens to be a complete Pepto-Bismol pink uniform. Like, you walk out looking like you need you have a stomach ache. Like, not only can I play soccer, but I'm also a cure for nausea.
Yeah, that's hideous.
It's quite a color. Like, a lot of teams,
hideous.
A lot of teams, especially in England, are making third kits that are geared towards female buyers. Right. That's just happening a lot as the growth of the game there picks up. But you got to do something. Like, that's like you just painted a baby's bedroom. That's what that looks like.
The thing about it is, that's what you get when you get again. I think that this is what you get when you're getting a bunch of middle-aged men sitting around listening to Louis Primo, who trying to interpret what they think women would like.
Yeah.
Not what actual women would like to wear. Because even the weird designs around the sleeves somehow don't work with that. It's just, it's a hideous color. The yellow sponsor on the front, all you see when you think of that is just immediately everybody thought the same thing, Pepto-Bismol.
Yeah, I think chalky pink is probably that official color.
Right. Professor Matt, jump in.
It is, if not Pepto-Bismol, very reminiscent of all of those bubble gums from the 80s and the
Yeah,
90s. You know, that particular type of,
Bubblicious.
as Mike said, Bubblicious, or the real stale shit that was always in the baseball cards.
The bazooka.
That
Bazooka,
yeah,
It
Bazooka
was like a
Joe,
brick.
that
bubble
particular,
tape.
yeah, the particular
Stuff was like
thing.
bathroom tile that
Either
everybody
way, you're
take
going to end
home.
up either you're curing a stomach ache or you're creating one.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's ugh, okay. Oh,
This is Juventus's third. Again, this just looks like your everyday polo shirt, right? And even
that's
the
nice.
logo on it, gives you almost like Ferrari vibes.
I was about to say that, but it works because it's Italian.
It works because it's Italian, it's understated. Like, this is something that I would expect to go to Turin and see the Italian men in their short pants and sand and loafers walking around it wearing in the piazza
Yeah,
on Friday afternoon while sipping espresso.
they need to bring this logo back more though. That is when it's small like that, that old school trefoil leaf, that's pretty. Adidas has gone pretty much the three. That used to be Adidas equipment back in the 90s, the three
This is
stripes.
now the
And
Adidas Originals logo. So when they put the
yeah, this
Adidas
is,
Originals
I love
logo
that.
on it, they're trying to symbolize something that has a bit more retro feel to it,
Yeah,
which is why they got the trefoil for this one. But overall, I just think this is just a solid
yeah,
kit.
very solid
Like,
kit.
the only thing I can say is, like, they look as much like they're going to a business meeting or a golf
Hmm.
clubhouse as they do going out to a
Yeah,
football match. So I expect, like, I think when they go out for the first match, a half of them should be carrying briefcases, and the
yeah,
other half should be carrying golf clubs.
yeah, absolutely. I would wear that every day of the week.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
it doesn't look like a football shirt. It
no,
looks like the
no.
polo
It's
that you bought in a
yeah.
store,
Oh
and
yeah.
it's a good one.
Oh
Like the
yeah.
little design in the back, that's awesome.
Yeah,
I kind of want it
absolutely.
just a polo shirt like that.
Yeah.
I'd even, yeah, I'll take the logo. I don't need the the bullseye
Yeah,
there.
that's true. But these little subtle
Mm-hmm.
designs you see in the fabric here, yeah, they give it a lot of personality. I like that one. That's a good one. That's the one. So far, I've seen quite a few good ones this year. I like this one. All right, let's go to the next.
This is Angiers. Uh, again, I like the motif of the skyline in the back. How even the sponsor's logo forms a perfect rectangle. You don't have the design on the sleeves. It just looks, and then even the whole entire thing is done in black and white, and you see the Noir Blanc on there. I think this is just a pretty decent shirt. Like, I like this.
Mhm.
When you're doing all white, or you know, white is the base, there's always a tendency, we'll inevitably talk more about this, where it does look like, man, you just went to the t-shirt shop around the street. The ones that pull it off like this, though, are quite sharp, and I have to say I quite like this a lot.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna disagree, and I think it's because of the memories of life. But this to me, first of all, it looks a little bit too much like a plain white tee. Like I'd like to see at least, a collar of black or something, or black around the sleeves. To me, it looks too much like a plain white tee, which I think makes it look cheap. But it also reminds me of when I was young and I used to go to the club, and those guys who had like they were shirts like this. It had like instead of a kit sponsor, it had like Versace, like real big like that, and it had some silly little design to make it $50 more than just an average plain white tee. And those were always the worst guys at the club.
And
So
Tommy
that's what
jeans
that
on it.
reminds me
Yeah.
of, and I don't like it. I don't like it.
You
I,
know what? Chelsea Mike, you have completely swayed me. I liked this, and now I don't like it
Because you
anymore.
know that guy. You saw that guy. You know who he is.
I kind of can't see it now because, and remember, I didn't go to the club as much, obviously, as Chelsea Mike did, or apparently. Remember for a while those T-shirts, and it just said "boy." Quickly, it was like, okay, yeah, word, we get it.
Yeah, that's
Okay, there's
not,
something to be said about that, Mike.
you do have a point. You do have a point.
okay. Chelsea Mike. I'm sorry. That is the. I've never made a 180 faster on this show than I just did. I was like, I had my thoughts ready. I was like, yeah, but, and then you said that, and I was like, oh, you're exactly right. Never mind. We're moving on. We're moving on.
Boy.
I'm gonna make that our first YouTube short is going to be what Chelsea Mike just said.
It's totally swayed you. Now none of us like it.
No.
I actually do like this one. This is the Manchester United third. Their opinion's pretty divided on it. I like the the alternate logo. I like the trefoil. I like the three stripes around the chest. I just like even the ringer sleeve on the short sleeve one. It looks a lot like an old Adidas t-shirt that I would have had when I was growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that's why I'm kind of feeling it the way that I am.
Mm-hmm.
Matt, do you see it? Do you see what I'm seeing? Because it feels a little German to me.
Yeah, okay.
And a little old-fashioned German.
Wait, so this is the thing. The kit itself, it looks nice. And Mike, I understand the Adidas thing. When I saw this, I was like, that's not Manchester United. That's the freaking Kaiserreich. This is what the German national team wore before World War One. Literally. Again, it's a sharp kit, but when I look at this, I'm like, that's not Man United. Like that's one of those cases where I'm taken out of what the kit actually, who it should be on.
Well, look,
So,
I'm sorry.
No, I think it looks good. Like the colors are good. It's just
it's a sharp,
the way they position those stripes.
Stripes. It's
I was like, hail to the Kaiser.
Yeah, like damn, yeah.
I'm sorry. All I see now is that guy from the club, and he's the one holding the flowers in this picture. That's what I see.
Okay, not everybody's going to be the guy from the club.
Maybe his name is Horst.
But I'm sorry. The flowers, really? Look. I get sexy man face. I understand that marketing tool of sexy man face, but the flowers behind the neck.
Yeah, I'm not in love with the idea of with the photo shoot, but I don't have as much of a problem with the kit. And
yeah, I actually like the kit. I do.
I'm not sure why you chose Rasmus Højlund to do that one. The one thing that I will say was they were kind enough to airbrush some of the pockmarks out of his face. Yes, the fish lips. Yes.
All right, we're moving on. Moving on.
Another highlighter jersey. So Juve went from one of our favorite kits to, and you gave me this.
Juve's trying some things this year.
It's better than the fuzzy looking kit last year. But I keep going back to bubblegum. It's like chewed juicy fruit.
It looks like what happens when you mix too many Starburst and then you throw up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's candy in a form of semi.
Yeah, I'm not feeling this one either. The pink on the side, the pink doesn't do it either. It's two highlighter colors, and it's just.
And the worst part is, the pink's on the side, that side pink down about two-thirds of the way down.
Yeah.
That's that design element that Adidas is carrying through all of their uniforms. So it's also going to continue on the pants in a weird way, which is just going to make this thing even worse.
Yeah, I like the cut of the jersey, but
yeah,
it's the design. Yeah, that That's not a good one. All right, move on.
I've seen this before in a different color. This is Celtics third. This is basically the away jersey for Bayern Munich last year, but in green instead of that blue gray that Bayern wore.
Mm.
I think are they trying to do a camouflage pattern? Are they trying to do like a mountain motif? I think the only thing that saves this from being really on my absolute this is ugly, this is played, I've seen this before, is the fact that it's got that OD green thing going
Yeah,
on.
exactly.
And as an Army guy, I'm a sucker for all things OD green. It
Yes.
makes it look vaguely camouflaged.
Yeah.
But I'm not. Celtic has had some really great ones, and I do like the logo and all of that sort of stuff. But I'm really just not overall feeling this one.
I will say to me as a person, I have traveled to Scotland. I think the worst thing about this is I don't really remember the scenery in Glasgow, but I definitely remember the scenery in Edinburgh, and that looks like Edinburgh. It looks like the hills of Edinburgh to me.
Mm.
So I think that's like, did they know? That's just the first thing that I reacted to. But overall, I wouldn't wear that.
Yeah, the color is what's saving it for me too. It is. That green is really making me go, well, it's okay. I kind of like it, but outside of that, yeah, I get what you're saying. It does look like it's just sort of a retread jersey, but it does. I don't know. The greens talking
This
to
is
me.
one of those times where it's like I'm a sucker for all things OD green and camouflage, so I
Yeah.
would normally be a mark for it.
Yeah.
But the pattern it isn't quite camouflage. It's too eerily reminiscent of the Bavarian escape that they did for Bayern a year or two ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not working as much as I thought it was going to.
Yeah.
And initially I really liked it. And the more I look at it, the more I'm like, nah, I'm just not doing it.
Yeah, I agree. All right. We got Wrexham's
the
kit.
best sponsored lower league team the best selling lower
For
league
real.
team that you can. Actually, I don't have much of a problem. I don't love the collar on the black kit with the button and things like that.
No, I don't either.
But overall, the only issue I have is it's getting very, 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 very eerily close to the reversible Manchester United kit from the centenary. Like I feel like I should be able to flip the home jersey and it should turn into the gold jersey.
Yeah.
I really like what I assume is the home, the red. It almost has like Welsh national team vibes, which considering it's Wrexham makes sense. The one with the collar is just slightly off. It almost looks it looks like the getup of a Bond villain, like a Nehru jacket meets a Dashik.
Well, why did they put the dude with the thick neck in that jersey too? That's kind of the wrong model for that. Go get a guy with a thinner neck.
Well, they wanted to let you know how it was going to look on an actual Welsh person.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not feeling any of these three. I'm not.
I like the whole setup. I think it's a really
think
good
this
setup.
is going to be a weirdly divisive setup. You're either going to like it or you're not.
Yeah, I don't like it at all. I don't. Yeah, I'm not feeling these at all. And I can't completely articulate why I don't.
I have to say something about
outside of the collar. I'm talking about the other two.
The woman who's wearing it has this weirdly creepy Mona Lisa type thing going on with her face, where if you cover up the lower half of her face, her expression says one thing. If you cover up her eyes, it says something completely different.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not feeling that one. Let's go to the next one.
Ryan Reynolds is disappointed in you, Stan.
Yeah, sorry, Ryan. Sorry, I'm not feeling this. Get thick neck out of this one, then I'll think about it.
All
Now,
right, Matt, this one's yours, I believe.
No,
No,
it's
no, this is Chelsea
no, this is
Mike's.
me. This is the Sheffield United third kit. And to me, that's the way you do a third kit. That is hot. It looks like a great shirt that you'd wear anyway. But what I really like is they kind of made a little alternate logo there for Sheffield
Mm-hmm.
rather than the whole crest. It's just the crosses, which I think makes it look classier. I think if you're an American, you could see that, kind of think like Boston College, and
Mm-hmm.
that might put you off. But I think for an English person, they wouldn't know that.
If
So
you
anyway,
take out,
I love this kid. I mean, to me, that's how you do a plain white. It's got the little details in there, but not in that douchey way.
Mm-hmm.
It's
and I'm gonna say this right now too. This kid, I like the design. I like just the blades, literally the blades. That is how you do a collar like that properly.
Mm-hmm.
this has given me a lot of AS Roma vibes, and it looks like a jersey that they wore a while ago with a new logo on it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the logo, the way that they did that with the cross kukris looks really, really good. I think I agree with you, Matt. That's how you do a collar. There is like a sublimated design in there too that kind of breaks up the white, so it's not just a white shirt.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you do kind of something minimal and make it look clean.
Yeah. I think this is absolutely beautiful. And this is one of the best kits I've seen in years. I think this is stunning. I absolutely love it. And I think it's time to, if you're going to do a collar, do a collar. And the whole thing, I might actually order this. Like, I might
I'm
get
with
this
you.
one
Of
because
all the
this
ones
is nice.
that's on my list of ones that I might actually get.
Yeah, this is a good looking jersey. Very good looking kit. Thank you for finding this because, like, you guys are, my kit game isn't as strong. I gotta build up because that's a good one. That's a good one. Oh,
all right. Yeah,
Oh,
we got Hull here. I marked this as I thought it would be pretty divisive because it seems that folks on the internet are really loving this shirt, but I think it's awful. Like, first of all, it's like way too white, and then it's got like almost that 90s kind of cup pattern on the top, but in whole colors. And I mean, well, first of all, I mean, you want to talk about a collar, like this is like, let's go back to the age of jive.
Yeah,
Like that's a wide collar.
I'm very torn by this actually because the collar is atrocious. It's very weird. It does kind of have, maybe it's the whole colors and the pattern on the sleeves. There is kind of like, have you guys ever seen the old school Zaire kits?
Yes.
This is very reminiscent of that. And as much as Mobutu Sese Seko could go to hell, those kits were sharp. Like they were some of the sharpest African kits I've ever seen. I don't know. The collar ruins everything though. It looks chunky.
Yeah, I can't stand those sleeves. I can't do that. Again, if you're gonna go for it, go for it. That's just hideous. I can't get by those sleeves.
if it had been a shirt, if you had taken away the collar, I might have been able to see it and continued the design all the way up and taken away the collar, I might have seen it. If you took away and just did, even if you did that collar with either a black or that orange sleeve, I could have seen that. It's the combination is just not doing it for me.
Yeah, no, not at all.
I'm
Not at all.
I'm not
No.
impressed.
All right. Let's see what we have next in store.
All right, this is the Oxford United keeper kit.
Ah, that's how they're able to cheat with it. Hold on. I'm seeing two things here. Huh. How does Oxford United have two different sponsors? Oh.
This is not Oxford United. This is a Connacht rugby kit from last year. Now, the funny thing is, they're both made by pretty much this. They're both made by Macron. So what you're telling me is you essentially did the exact same jersey for Connacht Rugby for their European kit that you're giving the Oxford goalie kit. And given that the material is probably roughly the same, and people don't typically buy goalie kits, I can understand why they might go with that idea, but that was one of those ones where it's like, oh man, this is really, really cool, until you happen to have somebody on the panel who watches Connacht Rugby enough to know, like, you already did that one.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna move on past this one. Oh God. You've been looking for it here,
About
Justin.
the fact that the name of the sponsor is Spread X. There are so many ways to go with that right now.
Whose kid is this?
This is the championship leading Sunderland AFC third kit. And it looks like you just kind of wrapped yourself in your grandma's curtain and made your way out the door.
I was gonna say it's the Central Asian mosque kit. That's what I see when I see that design. I'm in Samarkand.
Ugh. Yeah.
Samarkand, not a long way from Sunderland, apparently.
You can't tell what team it is. You can, like, you talk about doing too much.
That's bad.
What is the rationale, Mike? Is there any sense of the rationale behind this kit?
No, I don't know the story.
Okay.
Behind it, but I don't know. It doesn't matter. There's nothing good enough to make up for what they came up with there.
They're channeling the Central Asian Islamic history of found in Sunderland.
They're really going for that Uzbek market.
Yes.
That's a shame. Come on, Sunderland. You can do better than that.
It looks like an Uzbeki curtain.
Yeah.
They are 4-0 and tops in the championship right now.
They're crushing. They are doing that. Well, hopefully they don't wear that jersey.
Okay,
don't wear that jersey.
Can we also
All right, so we're at Stevenage.
Yeah. So we have Stevenage here. I mean, I think it looks like the 90s in the worst kind of way. Like a bad play on one of those Mighty Ducks shirts of the days of yore. But even worse, like Exala is a video game company, and they insisted, I guess, on both their picture logo and their word logo being side by side next to one another on the shirt. And just that off color of the logo with the Stevenage red and that tacky kind of 90s design and the horrible logo. I think this is just, I think this is really one of the worst. It also, by the way, up top has one of those throwback to the last decade NFL collars on it.
Yeah.
Where they had the fake medallion cover.
This, they blew it. This could have been a nice kit. This really could have been, but they blew it with this crap at the bottom. This actually, I think, could have been something that was pretty good.
Yeah, and what's the pattern behind it? Because it's like you've got this sharp, angular thing that you could put there and just made it clean. But then there's this like,
it's like cracked paint kind of look you have put on there. Yeah, no, you guys blew that one. That one, that's probably more frustrating because they weren't trying to. It's like you halfway made a decision and you halfway didn't, and you had a chance to make a nice kit and you blew it. So
right, and cursed by the kit sponsor on that too.
Yeah, exactly.
Wham! That's Accrington Stanley. Wham! And I didn't do enough research to know if they're sponsored by the band, but it looks like
we're all the age that remembers them. Yep.
This
looks like a
Wham concert on a shirt.
Shout out to my older sister, God rest her soul. She went to a Wham concert when she was probably 10 years old, I'd say.
But yeah, that's just hideous all around, between just indiscriminate paint splatters at the bottom a not good collar because the collar doesn't match the splats that are going on really.
Yeah.
Remember when we
So
used to get like painters hats and shirts and stuff in the 80s?
Yep.
It's totally bringing back those vibes. Like
Yeah.
that is Wham on a shirt.
Yeah. Whoever the designer is, or the excuse me, the kit company, they're batting 1,000 with us today. They're really not doing too well.
That's Macron.
Macron, yeah. Macron's struggling a little bit today.
So,
All
I'm
right, it
sure.
looks like we
looks
have
like one of yours
stripes
there,
that
Matt.
forgot to
Yeah,
go
I
all
think
the
we're at
way
my.
down.
Yeah.
so with defend the motherland settings, pretty much every team in Ukraine this season has a quote unquote patriotic jersey.
Mm.
Some of them work, some of them don't necessarily work. And it's weird. So a couple years ago, even before the start of hostilities, Dynamo Kiev broke out this kit meets Ukrainian embroidered shirt kit. And this is going to sound like a very strange analogy, but bear with me. I'm the king of these. When I'm a big fan of, although there's not many of them, what you would call comedy horror. Like American Werewolf in London is a great film because it is simultaneously a horror film and simultaneously a comedy at the same time. And the two things work, right? When Dynamo Kiev did their Ukrainian embroidered peasant shirt kit, it sucked ass because it was neither a football kit nor a Ukrainian peasant shirt. The balance was off. This kit from Chernomorets, Odessa, I don't know whether it's just their natural colors, like it looks relatively sharp. I quite like this. It, it's very clearly a football kit, but it also very much invokes what you think of in traditional Ukrainian, I don't know, sort of peasant garb embroidery. I really quite like this, and I'll say it right now. I am going to be purchasing it.
Mm.
I just don't like the fact that there's that line right across where your
Yeah, I was going to say
the
that's
end
my
bottom of your
objection.
chest, where the stripes, the embroidery stops, and
That
like
They
Yeah,
unless
seem
go
to
you
all the way
have
down with it.
yeah,
if you
that
unless you have a six pack, it's going to end up looking awkward on you.
It kind of comes up
It's
a little
narrowing the
higher here
vertical
in the
stripes. I've got my
corner, you know?
Ukrainian beaded egg here too
Yeah.
for
yeah. So
our
that
peasant.
thank you for the visual. Chelsea Mike. That's what this
Oh,
is
show
going.
the egg again. There you go. Show the egg
Yeah,
again. I just
Yeah,
got it to
there
the
it
big
is.
screen. Yeah.
There it is right there. Yeah.
I I don't know.
If it
I
went
gotta
all the way down,
I
I
would
would be
like
I'll
to
have to
see
waiting.
look
the
at that one a little
embroider
bit
that
more.
pattern go all the way down and be full stripes rather than being cut off about halfway down,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, yeah,
especially
yeah.
right under the logo.
Hmm.
There's just something awkward about that to me.
Yeah. I gotta think about that one. All
Even
right.
if it, you know what, those. No, okay, no, never. I just really, I don't like those stripes. They're bad.
this is gonna sound strange. I'm gonna sound like I'm Stead. Well, I am Stead's buddy. I love this kit. I love the pattern. I love the coloring, and I'm gonna shout out my wife quite a bit tonight because she said things to say about kits. When you guys busted them out, was it the first match or the second match then?
Second, I believe.
Yeah, she was like, she fell asleep. She woke up and then she was like, "Oh, it's an African team playing." I was
Mm.
like, "No, this is Arsenal." But funny you say that. That's why this kit exists.
Hmm.
I really quite like this kit. I think it's sharp. I like the retro, Arsenal badge.
Mhm.
It's I quite like it, especially considering what it's attempting to do.
Yeah. This kid is
A sleepy Sicilian American woman was
yeah,
Africa immediately.
right. This kid's flying off the shelves. It's flying off the shelves. And in our Arsenal
Get the hell
chat,
out of your goddamn highlighter kit from last year.
yeah, yeah. No, a lot of the, Mike, you'll know this. A lot of the guys on the chat, on my Arsenal chat, are from Zambia
Africa.
and other African countries. They all have it. They got it immediately.
Yeah.
And I know G's got it, and I didn't order it because the little sections here of the white and black are just I'm trying to like it, but it's
They're
just
because they're zebra and it's just trying way too hard.
maybe that's what it is.
The one
Okay,
thing I will say though is
but
I
it is
have
pretty.
seen this
It's
in
pretty.
person. I have seen this in person. I have seen people wearing it.
Hmm.
And as Mike said about the Chelsea kit, I think that this actually looks better on a person than it does
Okay,
in an image.
okay, that's true.
We saw people when we were down at we saw a bunch of people at the Arsenal women's game that we went to at the end of August wearing it, and I think it actually does look a lot better. It's just because, and part of the reason is I don't think that the photo, the way that the jersey's colored, it
Mhm.
doesn't bring out the contrasts in the black, the white, and the zebra skin.
Let me just show you. This is somebody wearing it. They have their head down, so I hope they don't mind. But yeah, it does look good with on someone.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it looks a lot better on
Mhm.
somebody, I think, than it does just
Yeah.
disembodied.
Yeah. I might get it. I might. I
And
feel like if I don't
I
get
gotta
it,
look
then
at it
I'll
like
be like
this.
selling out my heritage or something. I don't know. My
I
family's been
gotta
in the
say,
United States
like,
for 400 years, but
if it was a Manchester United kit instead, and we switched out all the logos and the sponsors,
Mhm.
and it was a third Man United kit, I'd probably definitely buy it.
Yeah.
I think it looks good on somebody. I definitely would probably buy it if it was a different team other than
Mhm.
Arsenal. So
Mhm.
That's
I'm gonna
literally
go with it's okay.
Mhm.
that's literally what I was gonna say, and it's
Yeah.
not my heritage. If that's a Liverpool kid, I'm forking over the money still.
Yeah. Yeah. It's nice.
We
It's
have seen
definitely
like
nice.
Manchester United did a sort of like leopard print thing, animal print thing a while ago that was tan that ended up
Mhm.
being okay, even though I thought it was gonna. So I'm okay with this. I'm not
Well,
gonna veto it.
yeah, and with the Visit Rwanda spots that Arsenal's had on the sleeve for quite a number of years now, too, it does
Mhm.
work. And I'll say this is probably the best Arsenal kit that's come out in recent memory. This is for an alternate kit, absolutely. Yeah, the highlighter thing last year was just pink highlighter. That was awful.
Apparently, that has a cult following amongst
Of
your
course,
staff.
yes, of course,
Yeah.
because everybody thinks, I'll leave that for another time. Let's
Speaking of
talk about
African football pyramids, we don't talk enough African Big League clubs.
no, we don't, and I have no idea what this is. I was looking forward
So
to an
this is a
explanation.
club in Egypt, hence pyramids, and uh, I've had lots of Egyptian students over the years, so I have a sense of what Egyptian football looks like. I, other than whoosh, which I don't know what the hell that is, I quite like this kit. It's there's a lot going on, but the color scheme it's done in a way where it still looks sharp.
It looks too much like a faux star chart over a camouflage shirt for me.
It did, but it's growing on me. It's growing on me. I think the
If it
more I see it, the more I'm going to be like, I actually kind
if
of
it
like that.
wasn't the light and dark blue, Mike, I'd 100% agree with you.
Yeah, I think if that was just the pattern, if it didn't have the differences in color, I
Yeah,
think
I
it
can
would
see
be a
that
pretty
too.
cool shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just it almost like
I think they
looking
should have
at it.
gone one or the other. I think they should have gone
Yeah.
star chart or camouflage.
Star
But
chart
trying to do a
actually would
star
have been
chart
cool.
over a
Star
camouflage
chart.
shirt.
Star chart would have been really cool.
Yeah.
That would have been
Yeah.
really cool.
The
Mike,
star chart over the camouflage jersey, trying to do like the constellations.
Mike, I think you got a career as a consultant, bro.
Yeah.
That's a good pull. That's a good pull.
Gotta
At
be
this
careful
point,
though, because that's leaning too much on the Luke Bechtel school of why the pyramids exist. So
that's
Yes.
true.
be very careful there, my friend.
All right, on to the
By
next.
the way, shout out Luke if you're listening. It's not an Arsenal kit, although you might be confused that it is.
It looks like a Wrexham kit.
No, it is. This is the CSKA Sofia kit for this season, and I again just searching through stuff. They are back in Europe for the first time in eons, and instead, I know we've talked a little bit about this. We are of a certain age where, like, we were young, we got exposed to football, and we thought because '94 happened, Bulgaria was some weird powerhouse.
Yep.
Then we learned different. Uh CSKA Sofia is actually an historic club. They were like the torchbearer of Bulgarian football in, I guess, the Champions League when it still was the Champions League. I mean, this is Hitro Stoichkov's club. Uh, and this is very reminiscent, at least in terms of style, color, badge of those teams. So, I mean, this is, for me anyway, it's a full-on retro thing. I'm not the hugest fan of the cut of it. I'll keep that real, but I will toss that up too because they strike again, Macron.
Yeah, yeah. I like the retro look of it though. I do like it. I like the simplicity of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it looks very communist.
Yes.
It does.
Yes. Yes.
Mike is like,
you can't. It's definitely a retro Eastern European Red Army sort of kit. I don't think that Macron had to go out and do too much to come up with that. Like, take a picture of an old Arsenal kit and put some different logos on it. Like,
or they said
didn't tax their ability all that much on that one.
Or they just said they want something historical, and they're like, "Well, from where you guys are from, that's all you got to do."
Yeah, it's real simple. Okay. So, when this was first announced, I was okay. I actually quite liked it because I was like, okay, see this design here, it's trying to do the pinstripes. We got that red, we got that particular shade of gold with the liver bird. It's 1982. Word up. And again, shout out my wife. She was like, I don't like this. And I'm like, you just don't like retro stuff. You know what you're talking about. Then I actually saw us play in this. Collars have been a reoccurring theme on this particular show. This collar here is goddamn diabolical. You guys have all seen the Laurel and Hardy films, right? Watching my guys go out in this kid, they all look like frickin' Stan Laurel and Oliver Hardy. The only guy who looks semi-normal is Kanate. He's got a big old fucking neck. Literally. The collar is too goddamn high. It's too goddamn big. It should not be. If you move that collar down, this is actually quite a decent kit. The collar ruins everything. Collars are key. The floor is yours, guys.
There is no. I am not a big fan of collars on soccer shirts. This is like giving me old late 1990s, early 2000s T20 World Cricket World Cup vibes.
Yeah.
I think
and to be honest, like that was not a particularly good time in space, like T20 cricket jerseys at that time in space, were not a particular, because they had just figured out, hey, we can wear something other than white, and then they just went too far.
I think they went with the psychedelic throwback thing, like I know you all Liverpool fans like the stripy shirts way more than I ever would. So I don't like it just from the pinstripe sense and in the weird way that it's kind of looks like glass turning or something. I don't really like that. But Nike, what happened was Nike figured out that hey, we could sell retro stuff, but they actually had a whole bunch of old-fashioned headbands from the 80s in the closet. So they cut them in half and sewed them on the
So
collar. That's what you have.
That's what we're doing. We're trying to combine it. This is another case of when you prime put you try and go one direction, and you keep putting different elements in and thinking that it's going to do something, and then by the time you finish the product, you've just gone one design element too many.
Yeah.
Let's go pinstripes. I can do better than that. Let's go crazy pinstripes.
Yeah.
I can do better than that. Let's go crazy pinstripes with a collar. Let's go crazy pinstripes with a big collar. Let's go crazy pinstripes with a collar with a stripe on it.
And
let's go
that's
crazy
the really
pinstripes
sad
with a
thing
collar
that I
with a
think
stripe
about
with
this.
piping on it.
Because if you stick with the original, again, Chelsea Mike, not a fan of the stripes, this could have been a sharp kit. And you
They just went
screwed
one.
up in so many weird ways.
They went through. This was a couple of guys got into the scotch while they were. A couple of people got into the scotch while they were designing it, and you had a bunch of alpha males who were trying to consistently one up each other with what they could put into the kit. And this is the product. It could have been good, but you put one too many things in there. You should have cut. You should have cut yourself off after about the fourth or fifth glass of scotch before you got to the collar, the high collar with the stripes on it.
Yeah.
It's the collar that really is.
And it's not even the collar; it's the fact that it's the collar. It's a high collar with the square neck.
Yeah, it's tucked into the neck. Yeah, that's what's throwing me off.
That's the ill-fitting look.
Okay.
Everyone looks like they're really small.
Yeah, and I have a narrow neck anyway, so that would be, yeah, that would look.
You
that
look
would
ridiculous.
I would. I would look like my shoulders literally start at my Adam's apple with that jersey.
It looks like your shoulders are coming out of your ears.
Yeah.
The only guy on the pitch that looks semi-normal is Kanate, because his neck's like, brr.
Got Mike Tyson neck.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
Okay.
This is NASCAR? Like, what is this?
Yeah, so this is from the other Bundesliga, the one we don't talk about. I'm not, and this is going to be a recurring theme. I'm not a big fan of you just went and got a t-shirt printed at the t-shirt store, white kits. I'm also, look, hey, I'm all about if you have a sponsor, but I'm a big believer in your sponsor should make some kind of sense. Like, I know the beer itself is diabolical these days, but come on, we all love the old Newcastle United kits that were sponsored by Newcastle Brown Ale.
Oh, absolutely.
It was still drinkable. This is psychotic. It's like, okay, you're going absolute minimalist, and I am counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different sponsors on your kit. This is insane. And there's something going on in terms of the hands too. I'm wondering if that's another sponsor.
When you have that many sponsors, you can't go anything but a plain white tee. This is like NASCAR, Formula One type gear. If you had given the guy a helmet and sent him out, I would have thought this was a racing kit.
Yeah,
I would have asked what team this is.
There's so many sponsors on it that
money.
the league patch almost looks like an afterthought that kind of
It
got
does.
thrown in up on the
Yes,
shoulder.
It's funny.
yes, it's further up.
Yeah.
I've never seen a league patch like that high. Like we have so many sponsors, we have to cram this in and it has to get on the front of the shirt. They might as well have just tattooed the league logo on the guy's forehead.
Mhm. All right, Professor Matson, we're going from one plain white tee to
So this is, and it's Nike too, which just means you're goddamn lazy because an Eastern European team paid you money and it was like, no one cares. I care. So this is Kolos, which is a club in Ukraine. It's actually, weirdly enough, a formerly collective farming club, hence Kolos and the big ass K. This actually does look like something that you could get at your local Let's Print a T-shirt store. And it gets really confusing here too, because okay, you've got the blue and gold sort of here, which okay, that adds something, but then you have the logo. Chelsea Mike, if you want to expand it, or if we want Stead to be, Pat Summerall or John Madden again. Right by the K, all you have is what I can only assume is an EKG reading, which I guess is telling you if you watch this team, you will have a heart attack. And again, it's a former collective farm club. Like, I don't know, man. Put like some corn up in there or like some wheat or something. What is this? I hate I hate kits like this. I particularly hate kits like this from this particular region because I know that the larger sponsor was just like, okay, you need something that you can rock away. Cool. Here's a t-shirt.
So that
Write us out a check.
the the words oddly written in English script, but in Ukrainian, Svitonik means dawn.
Yes.
But why is it written
I
in Latin script?
there's there's that. There's again the EKG reading. There's the fact that literally nothing's going on. Uh I hate this kid. I hate this kid, and I really sort of hate Nike for just being like, okay, we will do the bare minimum to fulfill your need. By the way, actually, I know Macron has been like the whipping boy of the
getting beat up on today. Yeah.
no, I'm gonna beat up on Nike now.
Yeah.
Every Nike third kit with the freaking swoosh turned this way is stupid. But I can't have all of them, so I'm just gonna say that now. That is my collective. Why do you think this is cool? But anyway, yeah, this is kind of the kit produced. A club paid money for this to happen.
No, this is what you get when you give the intern the job
Was it
of
even
designing the kit
turned they
at 4:49 on their last day.
it could be that, or it could be what was it? The Browns owner who drafted Johnny Manziel, and he was like a homeless guy told me to do that. You went outside for your cigarette break and was like, "Yo, man, I got a jersey to design for the team no one's ever freaking heard of. You want to give me some input?"
Yeah.
Yeah, this is I had 11 minutes before the meeting to do it.
It just
Mm,
sucks.
It's
yeah.
just there. It's boring.
And the image that they're using to promote this jersey is even worse. You're like, dude, put your tongue in your mouth. You probably
Yes.
you're probably down 4-0 already, and you got a goal and you're celebrating. We just
Oh,
saw
we
that
did
one.
this already.
Yeah.
We've already dealt with that. Okay, so moving on a little further north here. Uh this isn't a great jersey. It has a lot of the same problems as the last one we talked about. This was in my what the F category simply because I'm a big believer sponsors matter. Belarus track. These were those tractors that they used to throw out on Red Square on May Day, the things the size of your fucking house. Uh, those are Belarus tractors. Uh, and who knows? I mean, they still rock them in certain places. I watch a bit of the Belarus League. This is FC Minsk, by the way. So this is strange club that has emerged in the last 15 years. Whenever I see this kid, yeah, Belarus tractor. All I think is those giant tractors with, again, the tires are like 2 stories. So it's not a particularly good kid. It's a lazy kid, but it's a lazy kid with a psychotic sponsor.
I like
Why is the
You know,
maker's mark on this jersey? The manufacturer's mark on that jersey so big.
So that's the other thing about this too. So Belarus, because they decided to help Mr. Putin do certain things. Depending on where you are, you're cut off from funds. So this is you check the football kit archive. The manufacturer is quote unquote homemade. So this is what you made in house. And again, the sponsor is a goddamn tractor that is the size of King Kong.
Why is there these? What are these little design? Is that a
I don't
tractor?
know.
it's a tractor. The design's a
It's
tractor.
it's King Kong tractor.
The
Yeah,
design's a tractor.
yeah.
I kind of like it.
So
I'm
the
like,
little
that's
designs on
owning
those
it.
things that I can't see.
Those are tractors.
Yeah.
Those are little tractors.
Those are little but big tractors. I
You know what this is? I
I
swear, you know what this is? This is the shirt that the kindergartners wear to school.
it's it I I hate this shirt, but there's part of me that loves this shirt because again,
This
the
is
whole
the
notion
kinder.
of
This is the
Belarus tractor is one of those crazy like, how did this happen? And then you remember the Soviet Union existed, and it's like
this is
that's how
that's
it happened.
that's the shirt that the little kindergartners
Yeah.
wear to school with the track
This is one of
with
the
Bob the Builder on it.
because the Belarus League starts in March, so I've seen this actually worn, and I'm like, Belarus tractor, laugh, and then I'm like, what is going on here? What is this kid sponsor? And then start doing a little research, and it's like homemade, in house.
All right, we are at our last hit for the day.
Right on time.
And oh yeah, absolutely. And we might be showing this kit a little early than we should. But we always seem to end with the jersey that's like the biggest head scratcher of all. And I think this one will probably do that for us. So here is our final kit of the day.
Huh?
Exactly.
What is this?
When,
FC
when I,
North
okay,
Pole?
when I was putting this together and I had to read the name of the pick that was sent, and I said, does that really say what I think it says? And then I looked
FC
at it and
Santa
said,
Claus.
that's a real jersey.
That's a
And then
real
Finland.
team.
and
They're
then I
from
looked at
Finland.
but I look at the actual shirt that it's on, and I think I had that shirt in my closet from the over 40 league I used to play for back in DC. So I was like, okay, is there a FC Santa Claus somewhere in greater DC? But as you stated, they're from Finland. Professor Matt, please enlighten us on what in the world are we looking at right now?
I don't know how FC Santa Claus was terminated, but they exist and they have climbed the Finnish football pyramid. And they are like, to say a cult team in Finland is putting it mildly. Whoever decided to create this club and then also market this club is a goddamn genius because this is a it's right up there with like strangest club, name of football club you can think of, but think about the marketing, think about the merchandise. And this is brilliant. And again, who 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 did the jersey? It's Adidas. So like
Yeah, it's true.
someone someone is buying these things. So yeah, FC Santa Claus. Fear the beard.
The Nordic clubs have a interesting way of coming up with great designs. Like I didn't see Bold Club last year with the Thor kit. FC Santa Claus. Like every year, there just seems to be a Nordic club. I think it's in the nature of you only get sunlight like half the year. That breeds this weird sense of humor. And so they come up with things like this when they're huddled around in sub-freezing weather, drinking lots and lots of beer. They come up with these really weird ideas and then act upon them. That this is Finnish club, FC. I'm not shocked at all. Like this makes perfect sense. It is totally on brand. And I also like that the look at the beard on Santa Claus. It has this weird like Marvel super villain thing going on. So it's not necessarily like just your jolly Saint Nick. It's got this like weird super villain Krampus evil Santa Claus thing going on the sides.
When you are surrounded in darkness for 6 to 7 months out of the year. And remember, these are the same people that gave us the goddamn Yule log. Your Christmas celebration is I'm going to stare at a big piece of wood on fire
for 12 hours.
For 12 hours, literally. This is what you get, man. You get an appreciation for the absurd, which I don't think we quite fully understand.
Yeah, no, that's what it is. They have this the absurd. Like I'm there for it. This is great. This is what you need to buy, like for your ugly Christmas sweater party. Walk in rocking this.
Yeah, this is. I'm surprised there's that candle sticking up from the side of the beard to make it a little more ominous. I think that'd be pretty cool.
It actually looks like one of those. His beard looks like one of those Christmas candles,
yeah,
like those
exactly.
really decorated ones. Yeah.
All right, final question. Best kit of the show. What was it?
Like best worst kit?
Or best, sure, we can do best worst kit and best kit.
Okay. What do you think, Stead? Best kit?
Sheffield.
I'm down with Sheffield for best one too.
I would also throw that in.
I think Sheffield. I'm leaning towards. I still there's something about that Juve kit that's doing it for me.
Juve is really good.
Yeah,
so we have Sheffield here, and let me see where's the Juve one. The Juve one's up here. That one.
Yeah, I'm still leaning to that one.
Okay. That's a very close second for me. I would normally pick that one, but I think for some reason I can't really figure out why this one just really when I first saw it I was like, wow, that's nice. So probably that's why I'm sticking with that one.
I mean, as an overall jersey, I think that's probably the better one. I guess I'm looking at the Juve one more like a golf shirt.
Yeah, that's true. All right, best worst kit. We're going Pepka.
Oh, you know what I'm going to say, Stead? Actually, no, it's not.
Where is it? There it is.
I'm still going with the I gotta go with the Jaws kit.
Yeah,
I would agree with that.
I would go with Jaws until Chelsea Mike talked about that. Then I gotta go with that.
Okay, this is the best ugly one, but go back to the Basel one.
Wait, that was up here.
Yeah,
this one.
This is just
that is
like
really
the
ugly.
worst
That's
overall.
Really, I would concur.
You guys are just not down with Flavor Town. Guy Fieri for life.
Flavortown shirt though is like I get where you're coming from. That this is just bad.
It's just bad all around.
No, it's awful.
Bad.
It's
Yeah,
awful.
it's horrible. There's
part
nothing
of the Guy
redeeming about
Fieri
that
appeal
jersey.
is how kitschy and terrible it is.
Yeah, that's
not good execution.
No, that's horrible. That's horrible.
That's just bad.
Okay.
I guess the question there too is, would you buy this? And my answer would be no. I don't want to look like a bag of Doritos from the early odds.
Yeah. I don't want my students to walk up saying, Mr. Galbraith, you have hot Cheetos. Can I have some? You know, because that's
there's just so many. Every time I look at it, now I'm looking at like the connection in the fire is slightly in front of the shoulder. Like, how is this jersey so poorly aligned?
Absolutely.
And now I've gone from Guy Fieri to only seeing Cheetos in that jersey.
Yes.
Yeah, but
all right, guys, let's wrap this up. This is fun.
Oh God, no, that's been a lot of fun. That's been a lot of fun. Now you know why we enjoy that.
Mm.
Doing that. There was some good, there was some bad, and there was some really there was some bad, there was some really bad, and there was some ugly. We'll get Mike. Yes, thank you. All right, gentlemen, we had a lot of fun. I want to thank Professor Matt and Kelsey Mike for coming on and sharing their visions with their views with us. Producer Stead for putting together the PowerPoint and keeping all the trains running on time. So for the cast of the Too Many Guys Soccer Show, I'm Mike. We did all right this week. We'll try and do better next week.